Hello and welcome to Relentless and Unstoppable's Autism panel. Today we have Shula, Fee, and my co-host Doug Kenny. Welcome everybody.
How's it
Hey,
going?
Brendan, how you doing?
Good, thanks. How is everybody?
Good.
I'm good.
Good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So everyone, we're here to discuss the autism community and ways that we can raise awareness on autism and how we can support people on the spectrum. So Shyla, begin with you. Give us a rundown of who you are and your journey.
All right. Hi, I'm Shyla. I'm an RBT, which is a registered behavior technician. And I work in the field called ABA, which is applied behavior analysis. And we provide services, behavioral intervention services for kids and adults with a wide variety of diagnosis across the lifespan. And our whole goal is to improve the lives of our clients primarily, but hopefully it would also improve the lives of caregivers and those who are close with the individual. So we take a lot of pride in it. I love what I do. I'm very, very lucky to have found this field when I did. I feel like I'm pretty young to have found like what I believe to be my calling in life. And I'm super, super passionate about it. And I basically get to be a kid for a living. So I don't know if it gets much better than that.
That's awesome.
Fiona, you have some kids, don't you?
I have a few kids. So I have three boys of my own that are on the spectrum. I'm an RBT. I'm a SPED teacher as well, currently at a private autism school. I've been in behavior and programs for years. And I wouldn't have found my calling if it wasn't for my kids. So that's pretty neat. And then I also speak. I'm an advocate, so I speak to businesses and schools and help them advocate for themselves and see autism in a different light between if it's whether they're staff or children, and do inclusive talks to help everyone.
Yeah, and I see you're very active on your Instagram with all that.
Extremely active, but that is because I have so many questions given to me in my DMs, and then I try and answer them all. And I answer them all by doing a reel, like a video to help, but I do it in a Australia way, like is like a blunt, humorous way, because I feel like it could be very serious all the time for parents on the spectrum, and it's very lonely being a parent on this with like kids on the spectrum, because you can't do a lot of social things until you have people like Shyla in your life who get kids to be a bit more social and learn those tricks. So I'm very active on there to help people, and it's a free advice instead of getting paid for it.
That's awesome. Is that why you're known as Hey Fee?
It is. That is exactly why the business name Hey Fee came about, because I'd get messages, "Hey Fee, I got a kid that doesn't speak and he's 6, and he runs into traffic." And I'm like, Hey Fee this, Hey Fee that. So I just labeled it Hey Fee and started answering all my questions.
That's awesome. See this?
Yeah. And oh yeah, I saw it, man. That's your superpower.
Yeah, for sure. Brendan, give us a rundown of your journey on the autism spectrum and what you do with the horses.
I found out that I had autism probably when I was very young. My parents got me diagnosed about when I was 2 years old. So yeah, so I went through primary school wondering what it was because I was told that I had it, but yeah, thought I'm not sure what this is. Then through high school, I sort of kept it more secret mostly, but then I realized that it's me and there's nothing wrong with it at all. So then I actually tell as many people as I can now that I actually have it, and yeah, so it's not anything to hide or anything like that. It's just how people are born and how I was born. Um, yeah, and yeah, I find my therapy through horses and music and like just doing art or acting or podcasts or with whatever like that. So yeah, and yeah, I help out horses at the Brumby Sanctuary. So yeah, that's
That's
been
really cool.
amazing. Yeah, and the horses become some of my best friends, so it's been awesome.
Great to hear. Shyla, what have you done to raise awareness?
Well, I recently started with a new company. I've been there about a year now. But they are really, really proactive about that sort of thing. So we have like blog posts, and we do community events, and we'll go to like chalk art, drawing at the market kind of thing. And we'll just be promoting not only our company, but just awareness altogether, which my company prior really didn't do that at all. So it was kind of a learning curve for me on how the community outreach is approached. Yeah. And so I really appreciate how they go about it. And honestly, I think it's just conversation. I think that just social conversation about these things is what helps people to put it into a realistic lens, and they can see it as something relatable, or like, I know somebody who was diagnosed with autism, or my child was diagnosed with autism, or whatever. But just talking about it and not being scared to talk about it, I think that has been by far the most powerful way to spread awareness, but also just display that it really is okay. It's not like this shunned, mystery thing that nobody can talk about. Like, it really is okay to talk about it, and it absolutely should be. And so I've been doing it just in my social life, just on a Friday night with a bunch of people I just met. Somehow, something will come up and I just run with it, and it turns into an excellent discussion almost every time. And so that's been my biggest route, and I think it's really enjoyable for everybody.
Yeah.
Great to hear.
I think like one of my biggest questions was, when can I tell my child they're on the spectrum? And I'm like, now. Like, if you hide it and they feel like you're hiding something, then they feel like it's something to hide.
Right.
And so it's like, no, tell them now. And
Right.
I'm like, you've got to. And then, as like Brendan said, he goes like I knew it, but I just didn't know what it was. So if you have that discussion earlier on, you don't have to go through that worry, and it's nothing to hide. It's like, that's who you are.
I've had clients whose parents were nervous about exactly that, about when do we tell him that he does have autism. And it was their choice to not tell him for quite a while. And I could see that it developed this like shame almost around it for him. Like, he knew that something was different, that like, I'm coming into his home and I'm providing services as his therapist. And he tells people I'm his therapist. He's like, nobody else has a therapist. Like, something is different, but he just didn't know what. And it could create a lot of problems. So I personally definitely agree that the earlier the better, but it is ultimately a caregiver decision. It's an individual's decision. So yeah, I just have to support no matter what.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with autism in 2002, but I wasn't told about it till I was 10 years old, and that would have been 2008. And then I hid it for a while as well, like what you were saying, before I embraced it eventually. Did anybody Shyla, hide their autism?
Like in my personal life or through work?
Both.
Yeah, so I see with my clients that like same kind of thing. If they know that they're receiving like these behavior services like I'm providing, they know that like something, most people don't have this behavior therapist, or what even is that. And so I think it just innately creates this like hush hush about it, and that like my clients will sometimes introduce me to other people as their friend, and I tell them that's totally fine. Tell them I'm your friend. If you don't want to call me your therapist, that's totally fine. I'd rather you call me friend anyways. But I can see that the like shame is very subtle. Like, nobody tells them, oh, this is something you should definitely keep to yourself. Nobody explicitly says that, but just like the body language and the kind of hush hush, like I was talking about, around the whole concept can transform and manifest itself in young children. And it can become really unhealthy pretty quickly in the sense that they're hiding who they are. They shouldn't be. Nobody should.